as we are all in sacred land of Bharat. Vaidyo Narayano Hari. That is our belief. Most of you are doctors, so I salute you, believing that you are all Narayanas. Thank you. Actually, my background is not befitting to be here. My education background is electronics. I got nothing to do with healthcare. Accidentally, I came into healthcare by providence. I came into this field in 1992, October. Until then, I was in defense as an R&D scientist, making radars, jammer aerials, etc. Later, I got into entrepreneurism, making defense-oriented batteries for MiG aircrafts, submarines, and missiles. Okay, having entered into healthcare, trying to do a vaccine, which was very essential at the time, as per WHO mandate, every newborn child should be vaccinated after birth. But it was not available at the time in the country. We had to import. Importation cost was very high. In 92, situation was India had no much of foreign exchange reserves, hardly 300 million. Do you know how much it is today? Almost 600 billion we have foreign exchange reserves. But 300 million was too low. It was just enough for 2 months of oil importation. In such scarce situation, Government of India could not import enough vaccines to add that into immunization schedule, national immunization schedule. We have, at that time, now we have 25 million babies every year. At the time, 21.5, 22 million. To meet that demand, we require almost 100 million doses every year. So it was not available. The government could not import. In the compulsive mode, I came into this when other pharmaceutical giants never believed that we can do this vaccine because it was biopharma, not a regular vaccine. It is based on recombinant DNA, a new theory at that time. Regular pharmaceutical people were scared about attempting that, so they shied away from it. I requested some of the giants here and in Ahmedabad. They said that we are far behind the technology. Even I tried to get this technology from US. They also had the same opinion. India is far behind, at least 3 decades. Maybe because I do not know the life sciences and the length and depth of the vaccine arena, my ignorance was my bliss. I didn't believe what they said, that we are 3 decades behind. I had a great belief in Indian science, Indian doctors, Indian engineers, for that matter on Indians. This civilization is very ancient. For a long period, the civilization evolved so much. We are the people who have given zero or infinity to the world. Astronomy, trigonometry, calculus, algebra, you name it, every science was developed here. We had universities 5,000 years back. With such a case, how can they say that Indians are behind? You can't understand, you can't absorb this technology. When I requested the company to give me technology, his comment was first very hurting. You are coming from a poor country. Second one was, you don't need vaccine, you have enough children. The third one was more dangerous or damaging. You can't understand and absorb this technology. We introduced this in 1988. You are coming in 91, 92, just 3 years. We can't give this technology, you can't understand this. Maybe out of my ignorance or bliss, whatever it is, I came back. When nobody attempted it, I attempted it. That's how I came to healthcare. Being in healthcare, developing vaccines at affordable cost, it is not just development alone. It should be affordable. At the time, I remember in US, this vaccine was sold at $90 to $100. And they were giving to UNICEF at a subsidy rate of $38 per dose. They were selling in India at the rate of $32. We made an attempt to make that in India at affordable cost. My target was to do it at less than $1. We did it at 23 cents. And we have exported to third world countries through UNICEF after getting through WHO pre-qualification. WHO pre-qualification is not easy. Very tough standards. All our products have gone through WHO pre-qualification, and we could supply to UNICEF at very subsidized price, 1/10, sometimes 1/16 price of what is available elsewhere. So what my point I am trying to say is, Indians have talent. Indians have intellect. We have natural intelligence. We have natural intelligence, native intelligence. Today, artificial intelligence is the key word. Okay, definitely we have to welcome it, accept it. If you combine that artificial intelligence with our native intelligence, we are far better than any Western society. I have faith in that. With this introductory remark, I will go through what I have written for you. Takes 15 minutes or 16 minutes. Kindly accept. I am asked to speak on artificial intelligence healthcare. The word AI is being much, rather more used these days, but sometimes it is more abused also. Earlier in the society, we used to hear, if you want anything, ask Google. Then they said, go to ChatGPT. Now, artificial intelligence. It's all pervasive, omnipotent, omnipresent. AI-driven, AI-generated, AI-compatible. For anything, if you add the AI prefix, it automatically acquires respect and acceptance. Very soon, in a lighter vein, very soon, we will have AI saloons, AI laundries, and also AI massage centers. I am venturing to say this because when Shanta was started in 92, 93, biotech-based vaccine, there were some saloons saying that we are biotech-based saloon. When we inquired how it is biotech, we use a soap made out of biotechnology. That's what their answer was. Because of overexposure to AI, we became skeptical about it. That's natural. Adding an AI tag has become a marketing technique also. Private schools nowadays, they started charging extra fees for AI-based learning. In what way it is different from usual learning, I do not know. When I ask them, I ask the school people, they also do not define how it is different. But Jamana is running on artificial intelligence. We have named it like that. So talking about AI in India arouses negativity also as well as skepticism. When we hear AI, we Indians do not think of its usages. They have many useful things about AI, but unfortunately, we carried a negativism on that because of the following reason. We see it as a threat, a job snatcher. Our children working in the US or in the companies related to US business are losing their jobs. So we condemn it. To put it in a nutshell, in our view, India and advanced technologies do not go together. The words India and modern technology, they don't gel with each other. India is great in its own way, ancient civilization, rich heritage, family values, peace-loving nation, etc. But not in innovation or adopting new technologies. Innovation has taken a backseat in India because our governments are skeptical about spending on R&D. I will come on that. The way we utter, we normally use this word, it is local. It is local. Local means very low definition of indigenous made, local. It is local product, sir. It is not imported. With the way we use local demonstrates our lack of trust in indigenous products. Look at the way some doctors, not all, some doctors, tell you about the available options to implant a medical device in your body. They say the imported one lasts long, the local one, it is cheaper. Of course, it may work, it's up to you. That means you are at risk. They don't believe in the local. When Shanvac B was launched, some people said it is the Musi water. Anyway, if this is the confidence of Indians in their own talent, imagine what others think of us. When I thought of producing hepatitis B vaccine, I went for a manufacturing license from a US firm, which has the patent on that. The company's representative brushed me off, saying India cannot dream of making recombinant vaccines in the near future. He said, Indian scientists will take at least 3 decades even to understand high end of biotechnology. I challenged him that I can come back within 2 years, but it took almost 3.5 to 4 years for me to come with a vaccine. But when we did come back with a vaccine, we did it more efficacious and cost effective. And we beat them in international markets. After our vaccine was introduced after WHO pre-qualification, 70% of the global requirement Shanta supplied. When we entered the markets at 1/10 or 1/16 of the price, the market leader, Engerix B, the brand name of the market leader, made by SmithKline Beecham. At that time it was SmithKline Beecham, later it was changed the name as Glaxo. Engerix B, they made some false allegations on us, saying that this vaccine is not effective. That has prompted us to go for comparator studies with the permission of the drug controller. We made at 6 places comparator studies. We came out with flying colors that our geometric mean titers were almost 24,000 against their 450. That means there is no need to have a booster dose after 5 years. And not only that, normally the regimen is to give 3 doses per child with a gap of 0, 14 and 26. Our vaccine, 2 doses are enough, not necessarily 3 doses. And price is less than $1. Their price was more than $12, $13. So Shanta Biotechnics, when they were doing this kind of competition, multinationals felt it the pain in the neck. They made an entry into Shanta thanks to government policy of 100% FDI. So there is one way of foreign companies can enter into Swadeshi companies, and they want, when you can't beat the enemy, join the enemy and destroy it. Shanta has become the victim of that, thanks to 100% FDI philosophy of the government. Okay, there is a different story. We are now coming to our artificial intelligence. Again, after 40 years, this happened around almost in 92. You can't make this, it's not for you, this high technology. There is the utterance at that time, 92. Recently, after maybe 35, 36 years, again the same kind of utterance has come, that trying the next generation tasks are not good for you. That's what Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, talked in a similar tone, and later he has to bite his own tongue. In June 2023, during an event in New Delhi, Dr. Altman was asked if a smart Indian team with limited resources, financial resources of say 10 million, could build a foundational AI model, he bluntly stated it's totally hopeless to compete with us. On training foundation models, you can't do that. You shouldn't try it also, he emphasized. That OpenAI's competitive edge relied upon huge capital, computing power, and data sets. But the global realization is that training foundation models doesn't always require billion-dollar budgets. Proven by highly efficient smaller models forced a change in the perspective, and Altman later revised his stance, clarifying that India should aim to be a leader in full stack AI. He himself came back and said, India should be the leader. Thank you. He recognized that rapid evolution of technology, falling training costs, and India's growing importance as one of the OpenAI's largest markets. By then, India delivered a low-cost national computers, sovereign language models, a trillion parameter effort, and homegrown chips. It hosted the largest AI summit in New Delhi in February 26th of this year. There, the very same Sam Altman stated that as the world's largest democracy, India is perfectly positioned, not just to build it, AI, but to shape the future, establish governance mechanism, and guide its societal impact. So he's totally 180 degrees reversal, thanks to his understanding of Indian talent. Did I foresee all these things at the time when I challenged in 1992 that we can do this vaccine in 2 years' time? I don't know. But the only one belief is Indians have talent. Indians have native intelligence. That's the only reason. Before Second World War, Europe was highly industrialized. All the innovations, technological developments were taking place. They colonized Asian countries and used their resources, material, as well as human. They also used these countries as marketplaces to sell their finished goods. They did not train human resources in innovation or any research. They only started schools and colleges, and the education what they have imparted to us is to create more clerks who will obediently serve British. That was the kind of training they have given to us, that kind of education system. Our education system, our national education system was wiped out, and it was a newly devised education system in our schools, which we are continuing still, British legacy, that will create only people who need not use their brains. If they can by heart it, they will get a degree, they enter into the society. No innovation, no thinking. There is no training for minds for thinking. That is the education system we are going through. They prepared it like that because they never wanted us to think. They never wanted us to achieve something. They wanted some subservient clerks to serve them. After the Second World War, these Asian countries were liberated and developed their own human resources through IITs, IIMs, etc. Within 50 years, they made big leaps. The West is still good at machinery and innovations, no doubt. But where the human mind has to be applied, Asians are doing better, and in application and adaptation and improvisation, they are proving much better than Western society. For example, I have given an example. Automobile sector innovations are more in United States. But who dominates the US car market today? US markets today are dominated by Japanese, South Koreans, and Chinese cars. Why? What happened to American cars? Because they made them cost effective. They use the human resources, and their human resources are far better equipped than Western counterparts. Our Asian people have native intelligence. I underline native intelligence on how to put the locally available resources to reduce the cost. And human resources cost far lower than Western countries. We have seen How Vietnam beat the mighty US, currently we are watching what Iran is giving a lesson to America. Lately, a US Apache helicopter worth $40 million was downed by Iranian drone, which was re-engineered, a low-cost drone, which costs only $4,000. They could put down that $40 million worth of aircraft. It is because they use their brains. Innovation is the key for all these things, and we have to have a slogan in the country: innovate or perish. Otherwise, no chance to call a developed nation. Otherwise, we become we are not self-sufficient today, except agriculture produce. We are dependent on foreign resources. For oil, we have to depend on them. For electrons, we have to depend on them. For machinery, we have to depend on them. For sort of equipment, we have to depend on them. All these things are not good for us. We have to have our own innovation centers, and we should be the leaders for the technology. In some situations, even artificial intelligence, on this I have a new, what you call, finding. In some situations, artificial intelligence needs human intervention. Recently, I read an article that AI is proving too costly because of AI workflows break tasks into smaller autonomous steps called node joules, causing token costs to multiply. To cut down these token costs, companies are using less AI and deploying more people to do certain tasks. So manually, people are deployed, keeping AI aside to reduce the cost. Instead of snatching away jobs, sometimes AI is creating new jobs. It provides the point that AI is best used as a tool, and it can never replace a human being. Mahatma Gandhi, he was saying at one time that long ago, but the machines and humans must work together. They should shake hands with each other. And where human innovation is there, we Indians stand out good. AI is employed in many fields. In space technology, it may be purely technical, scientific, but in the field of healthcare, human touch is a must. Because healthcare is all about people. Had I consulted artificial intelligence in that time about pricing Shanwag B, normally we make a model. We ask some consultants how much price I should give for my product. Of course, my commitment was to make it at affordable cost so that more number of children can be saved. Suppose I go with artificial intelligence route, asking it what should be its price. At the time, whatever the rules are applicable in the country, artificial intelligence will happily read it and then immediately convert into a model. Artificial intelligence about pricing Shanwag B, it would have advised me to avail import substitution advantages and price it at local cost plus 10% more. That is allowed by law in this country. Suppose Injirix B is sold at, say, 1,000 rupees, I can easily sell at 1,100 rupees. It gives such an advice because it has no human touch. So that would have suggested exploit in the expanded market, but I priced it as my own way with human touch that it should reach more people, more children. More children should be saved with low cost. AI is a very good tool, and all of us, we all agree for it. It helps diagnose by giving better images more accurately. It can supply backup material very fast. It can analyze in multiple ways and even suggest various options to the doctors so that he can make a quick diagnosis and give the most suitable medicine. But it can never replace the doctors because it lacks human perspective. Not only as a physician, even while developing a drug, earlier we used to have, say, 1,000 compounds. We had to screen them, the suitability. What is the prospective candidate to make a drug? It used to take almost 2 to 3 years, sometimes 5 years to screen all the compounds. That is manual. In the laboratory, scientists have to work on that. But with artificial intelligence, it can screen very fast. Maybe in a day it can give 1,000 compounds, which is better, which is better prospective candidate for making a drug. That kind of advantage is definitely there. It will improve the throughput. Kindly take this point. It will improve the throughput, but it cannot dwell with human beings. When it comes to treating a patient, a human touch is important. A physician is very important. Every diagnostic report carries, you might be knowing, you are all doctors. If we go to a diagnostic center and then get the results done, every report underneath it says to be correlated clinically. What does it mean? It has to be definitely studied, understood by physician, then only it can be applied. So the machine, whatever it generates the parameters, numbers, it has to be clinically correlated. Definitely human intervention is a must. Body and mind are always together and interdependent. If one gets sick, the other gets also sick. In allopathy, we talk of psychosomatic diseases. AI or any such tool can take the body into account, but that is partial. Unless the mind factor is also taken care, the treatment is not full and complete. More than anything, it is the mind part a physician handles. The way he listens, the way he observes patient, he understands both physical and mental trauma of the patient, empathizes, consoles, counsels, assures, and fills the patient with hope. అందుకే ఆత్మీయ హస్తం, ఆపన్న హస్తం, ఆత్మీయ హస్తం అంటారు. హస్తవాసి, we call the doctor, with his touch only he can cure 50% of the problem of the patient. All these things will happen only with human touch. He does not, normally a doctor, he will not treat the disease. He will not treat the disease alone. He treats the patient with the disease. That is more important. Patient is more than the disease. We can take another example. We heard about faith healing. Faith healing, there is no medicine. There is nothing, not even touch. Somewhere at remote places, they will give the faith healing. There, what it works? Faith. Namakam, Bharosa. Somebody is really praying for me. Somebody is wanting me to be better. That feeling itself will give the healing. So, faith healing is another example that faith can be given only by a human being, not by a machine. Kindly understand? Faith can come from a human being because he empathizes, he expresses sympathy for the patient. Machine has no such kind of perspective. It is only a machine. It can be used as a tool. Tool, what will you have? A knife can be used to cut a mango, to operate a person, or to chop off his neck. Anything can be used. It is a tool. So even if it is same diagnosis, same medicines, a patient is cured faster with a particular doctor. We call it Hastavasi. You may translate it loosely as healing touch. In healthcare, more the human involvement, more the success rate. Once you talk of the human aspect, it is us Indians who score over others. It is because our Indian doctors inherit Indian values also. Our society treats them as par with God, Vaidyo Narayano Hari, one who redeems you from the pain. They are not just professionals. They should be more humane, more divine. I am told that India is already well equipped in the AI field. In the AI related healthcare sector, it has 800 million digital health IDs, hundreds of millions of linked records across 400,000 plus facilities, 280 million plus telemedicine consultants. It seems AI is already delivering TB tools, cutting adverse outcomes by over a quarter, radiation-free cancer screening, an AI stethoscope for rural workers. WHO recognized aerogenomics, a forward a doctor towards a doctor in every village. Our human resources are great, and this technological support positions us, our country well in this field. We are not behind, as Altman believed. For better results, the government should allocate more funds for R&D. See, every country, when it wants to be a developed country, they have to invest into infrastructure and also into science and technology. In R&D, the measure is out of the country's GDP, we have to certain percentage we have to allocate for research and development. America invests around 3.6% of its GDP. Its GDP is very high. South Korea spends 4.5% in its GDP. Japan spends 5%, and even China spends around 3.6. But we spend 0.6. That is the problem. If you spend at least 3% or 4%, innovations can come here. This kind of artificial intelligence, advanced artificial intelligence, even further, whatever it is. Earlier it was Google, and then later some chat GPT, now it's AI. Super AI also can be done in this country because our minds are much faster, much vigorous. For better results, the government should allocate more funds for R&D and give incentives for the industries to promote technological advancements. It should also define what AI is, very important. A regulatory system also should be, when we are encouraging AI, there should be parallelly a system of regulation. Otherwise, it can have a lot of pros and cons. What is AI is to be defined so that con men do not take us for a ride by branding everything AI. Unless certain standards are maintained, like ISI, for using AI tags, the public at large may lose faith in AI, which is very dangerous. I thank you all for listening to me patiently. Though I am not from this kind of science, whatever common sense said to me, I spoke to you. If there are many mistakes, pardon me. Thank you very much.